Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our second quarterly public meeting for the Board of Public Utilities for 2025. Looking forward to hearing from our residents and stakeholders about the work that we're doing at the New Jersey BPU. In addition to these quarterly meetings, there are also many other public forums around the year where we take input on various subject-specific initiatives that we're working on. So we really value input from residents and stakeholders and industry, especially if you are not someone who regularly participates. Our next public meeting is Wednesday, June 18th at 10 a.m. in the BPU's boardroom, and it will also be live streamed. We would ask just a couple of logistics. We would ask presenters today to keep their comments brief and send in written statements to the board secretary by July 18th, 2025. And please avoid matters that are contested before the board. So let's, if we could, before we get into any opening statements, if we could have a roll call from the secretary, please.
Madam President, I'm going to read the public notice statement and then I'll proceed with the roll call. Adequate public notice has been given pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act. Notice has been posted at the board's office and website and emailed to the Department of State and to newspapers of board circulation within the state. Commissioner Crystal DeLue.
Here.
Commissioner Abdul.
Here.
Commissioner Bainge.
Here.
And President Gosadovi.
Here. Thank you. So just a few more things. Again, we have a few speakers registered. You do need to register to speak to contribute today, though you can submit written comments, as I mentioned. We don't have the chat feature enabled. So if you are here as a participant but did not pre-register to speak, you will not be able to speak today, but we would encourage you to provide written comments. As always, this is being live streamed and helps to support the same transparency practices that we maintain for our regular board agenda meeting. We do have, again, about 6 speakers registered. I want to open it up to any opening remarks from my colleagues before we get started.
Madam President, I'd just like to add to your sentiments that we are very happy to be able to provide this forum to the public so we can hear feedback from them, get some great ideas, and keep the channels of communication open between our agency and the public at large. So it's a wonderful opportunity, and we're absolutely glad to be able to share it with everyone.
Couldn't agree more. Anything from the other commissioners? Okay. So for logistics, I believe, Lauren, you're going to read off our speaker list. As I said, we have about 6 speakers pre-registered. We do encourage folks to still, keep your remarks concise and submit anything more detailed in writing. But if we could get started, Lauren.
Yes, our first registered speaker is Charles Kravitz. Charles, you may now mute your mic to speak.
Yes, good afternoon. I met with you, or I spoke with you folks in March in reference to Atlantic City Electric. We applied on October 5th to have our solar installed. Right? To this day, we still don't have it installed. Everything they tell us is 4 to 6 weeks. Right? It took them 12 weeks to get us approval for a transformer to be replaced. Right? The last time I called, you gave Mrs. Tanya Johnson called me an hour after we complained that that it was taking them 6 weeks to do a bill, and I got the bill done. The bill was paid that day, right? They just replaced the transformer yesterday. Now, this is ridiculous. How long do we have to wait for this? Because you know what they're doing now? Because now it takes 3 months. So now they get 3 months worth of $800 bills again. They do this all the time. Now, the biggest part was that I was put in contact with this Mr. Schmidt, who's their engineer, and you know what his statement was to me? You mean nothing, quote unquote. His statement was that the new people and the emergencies come first. You mean nothing. We get to you when we can. That's the way the general public is supposed to be taken care of in this state? Yet, I understand there's another price increase for them coming up. Who's paying that bill? Right? Why does it take 9 months right now, and I still don't have my solar company still doesn't have approval from AC Electric yet. I spoke to them yesterday. They said they put a request in AC Electric to guarantee that the project is approved. Hasn't heard nothing yet. All we get is nothing. Right? When is somebody going to do something about this?
So, Mr. Kravitz, I completely understand your frustration. We will absolutely.
You have no idea. You have no idea.
No, but I certainly hear it, and I do appreciate it, and that is very frustrating. We will have someone reach out to Atlantic City Electric immediately today to help see what's going on. I'm very sorry that the person that you spoke to said that you're not that you don't mean anything. I think that's what you said. That's
we're nothing.
Unacceptable. That's unacceptable from the utilities. It's certainly not the position of myself, and I think I speak for the board that all of the customers in the state of New Jersey are a priority, and so we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to help support those customers. So we will have someone, Henry Guida, who is on this call and is hearing this as well. We'll reach out to Atlantic City Electric today, and we have your contact information from your registration, so we will follow up with you.
Let me ask you this though: who's going to pay this $800 bill now for the whole summer because I can't get solar? The idea was to get solar in the fall, so it takes 3 months for it to build up, so I wouldn't have $800 bills in the summer. So now, as a disabled senior citizen, I got to pay $800 bills again.
So I completely understand. We will also follow up with you with some information. If there's anything that we can do to help to reduce those costs, we will make sure that we're providing that assistance and that information, as well as follow up with Atlantic City Electric.
Charles, you'll hear from me today over email.
Thanks, Henry. Thank you. I appreciate your frustration.
Okay, our next registered speaker is Paulina O'Connor. Paulina, you may now unmute your mic to speak.
Hi, good afternoon and happy Friday to the board members and BPU staff. I'm Paulina O'Connor, ED of the New Jersey Offshore Wind Alliance, which serves as a resource and voice of the offshore wind industry in the state. Thank you for the opportunity to testify and for creating these opportunities for public's engagement and for the recent announcements aimed at protecting consumers from increased energy rates. Price stability and increased energy production is imperative to address our energy issues. Incidentally, this Sunday, June 15th, is Global Wind Day, and I want to take the opportunity to comment on the state of the industry and its future. It's needless to say that federal policy and market challenges have made it difficult for projects to develop in New Jersey, but there are success stories up and down the East Coast, from Virginia to Massachusetts, and we know offshore wind can bring an immense power load to our much needed grid. Therefore, now is the time to prepare for the inevitable, because offshore wind will happen. And that means continuing to include offshore wind in our energy planning as well as budget funding. The offshore wind industry stands ready to work with the state and federal government as well as PJM to solve for our energy issues. And we would like to have engaging conversations on procurement and OEDA reforms as well as permitting. We would certainly love to see continued funding in the budget for offshore wind programming, which is incredibly valuable and paves the way for future success. This includes the work of the NJEDA Wind Institute as well as BPU staff. Which brings me to my last point, albeit most important one today. It's critical that the state uses some of the settlement funds from Ørsted towards offshore wind. I've submitted more extensive comments onto the docket, but I'll reiterate that it is both appropriate and strategically necessary that a meaningful portion of the $125 million be reinvested into offshore wind-related advancements and programming. One of the more prominent challenges for the offshore wind industry is the nascent domestic supply chain This settlement can help attract and uplift US-based manufacturing, which in turn stimulates the economy and creates jobs. Battery storage development is critical to our energy portfolio, and we absolutely support the new program, but it does not yield the same economic return on investment. Offshore wind has proven to uplift communities and grow local economies. The settlement should be allocated for investments related to the industry. And aside from supply chain investments, funds can also go towards workforce training initiatives, fellowships, public education, events, partnerships, and other state-led efforts. A disruption or gap in this type of programming risks slowing our progress and diminishing the state's competitiveness and readiness. And I'd be happy to collaborate on the use of those funds and hope that we can continue the dialogue on continuing this board's and this governor's offshore wind legacy. The industry stands ready to help support and advocate for New Jersey's energy prosperity. We have a Global Wind Day op-ed coming out this Sunday, so look out for that. And I'm always here to help in whatever way needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. Appreciate your comments.
Our next registered speaker is Jasmine Metellus. Jasmine, you may now unmute your mic to speak.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. I'm Jasmine Tellis. I'm the Politics and Government Relations Manager from New Jersey LCV. And I would just like to extend a very well thank you to the BPU for their continued great work. Today, I just wanted to really strongly support the expansion of community solar because this is a way for us to increase access to clean, affordable energy. And while the ratepayer assistance programs are very important in the short term, the long-term solution is clear. We have to reach 100% clean energy by 2035. And that's why we are also urging the release of the Energy Master Plan. We do need a clear roadmap to get there. And also, I know that the budget items are not still clear and they're still pending, but we are very supportive of the whole home pilot program. And though the work has been done, it's showing real results, but we would like to continue to use this time to build momentum and success on that program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jasmine.
Our next registered speaker is David Morales. David, you may now unmute your mic to speak.
Hello, my name is David Morales, and I wanted to address the issues that we're having on the energy efficient programs. So, engineered solutions or direct install. I've certainly been a part of it for a little while. And I guess, I don't know if the BPU is aware or, but, there's a tremendous amount of projects out there that haven't been paid. And I could certainly get a solid number, but I haven't been able to get, that information back from the BPU, but, it's in the millions, right? And these projects are, and what I'm speaking about is completed projects. So projects that were done 8 or 9 months ago by the trade allies. And there's a bunch of trade allies, right? I personally know of about 8 trade allies that have over $4 million worth of projects completed. That means the contractor paid for the material, paid for the labor, and the project is complete and submitted back to whatever utility, PSE&G, Jersey Central Power and Light, but they haven't been paid for it. So, I guess why are these contractors forced to finance these energy projects, right? These societal benefits are paid, the money's there. The end user, the customer is realizing the energy savings, right? The grid is realizing the energy savings, the BPU is realizing the energy savings. So essentially, just on these projects that I'm personally know of, they're financing the energy savings for the customer. Why does it take so long to get paid? 8 months to get paid for a project. These projects are not on the large scale. So lighting projects or HVAC projects, maybe a couple $100,000 each, but there's so many of them that are not paid. Is it the BPU? Is it the utility? Is it the third party administrator, right? I guess that's the question I have. I don't know if you guys can answer it now, but I just it's such a headache, right? I mean, we're operating in good faith as trade allies and trying to get this stuff done. And it's great work, and we certainly appreciate the rebates. I mean, there's the programs are wonderful. I am not complaining about the programs. They generate a lot of energy savings, and contractors get to use them, and it's a great sales tool. But it's essentially unsustainable if the whole program is designed that these small contractors are supposed to finance these energy savings. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can answer that question. I guess it's more of a statement, but I don't know who's not paying, right? PSE&G, and I mean, yes, I've reached out to PSE&G and TRC and all the rest of the third-party administrators, and they cannot. I mean, they can't tell me when we're going to get paid. Right? That's really the issue. Okay, if they said, hey, you're going to get paid on June 5th, that would be great. But the answer is we just don't know when we're going to pay you. So that's the scary part.
Mr. Morales, yeah, this is, I appreciate you coming today. For me, this is the first time I've heard of this kind of delay in paying contractors. But we will certainly, I'm going to ask Taryn Boland, our chief of staff, to follow up with you directly. It is a very long time for a contractor or any business to carry that kind of cost and wait to get paid. And so we want to make sure that we're going to do everything we can to expedite that process. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. Again, we'll follow up with you directly. And if you do have a list of projects, I think for Taryn, that would be really helpful because we can look into them individually and try to figure out if there's, one particular problem or, whether there's just a system that we need to change. So if you have that list, that would be really helpful. If it's one, utility that, that you have more of a challenge with in terms of getting paid, that information would be helpful. But Taryn will follow up with you directly. So thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Okay, so it looks like our last two registered speakers don't appear to be on. However, someone did call in, so I'm unable to see the name. If it's okay, I'll see if I can allow them to talk to see if it's one of our registered speakers. Or
sure. Do they called in from a phone number?
Yeah, so I can't see their name.
Okay, let's allow them in then.
Yeah, this is Mike Henry from Solar Landscape. I did not register to speak. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So it is 2:19, but if we could just maybe wait for a couple of minutes to see if those last two speakers join us, we can take a pause for a minute or two just to see if we get those last couple of speakers on. That would be great if I could just ask for patience. Okay, it sounds like they have not signed in at all, right, Lauren? The last two speakers?
No, they do not appear to be online.
Okay. Well, it has been a short meeting, but it doesn't change the fact that we want to make sure that, all the residents and customers and stakeholders have these opportunities to engage with the BPU, to provide feedback on our policies and programs. And so this is one of the many opportunities that we have are these quarterly meetings. Sometimes we have a lot of speakers, sometimes we have fewer. This is one of the fewer months. Presumably it's the last day of school for some. We'll have another one of these in the next quarter, in the third quarter. But if we could just close it out with any comments from my colleagues. First, I just want to say Sunday is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. And are there any closing comments from my colleagues?
None from me.
Yeah, I just want to extend Happy Father's Day to all our staff and the commissioners and everybody else.
And happy Father's Day to the two fathers on the board, to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, well then, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful
Thanks, everyone.
weekend. Happy Father's Day. Happy summer.